record on here. Alright. Hey guys, this is Survival Mouse, back with another video. Today what we're going to do is we're going to put in a grayguns competition trigger, drop-in trigger for the sigp320. This is a compact. I put in one on a full size earlier, and the reason I'm making this video is that video hardly showed any detail. It kind of moved through it kind of fast, didn't really show everything, so I'm going to try to do a better job, so if you're doing this you don't run into the frustration that I ran into. So let's get started. All right, first things first, safety. Make sure the weapon's clear. Go ahead and grab that for me, son. I've got my son out here with me today, so he's going to be helping us. All right, so to break down the weapon, first thing you're going to do is bring it back and lock it in place. What you do is you bring the weapon back, push up this pin here, locks it so that it's locked like so. Next thing you're going to do, this lever here, you're going to rotate this down. Once you get it rotated all the way, if I can get it here, if you're anything like me, during the last video, said a whole bunch of cuss words. Then you're going to drop it forward, pull the trigger. The slide should come off. So what you're going to do is you're going to drop the slide forward and pull the trigger, and the whole thing will come off. This part right here, the slide and spring and everything, you don't need to disassemble. So set that to the side. You won't be touching it at all. Next thing you're going to do, the lever, this takedown lever here, you're going to go ahead and press on this side with your finger and rotate it out. So you're just going to keep wiggling it until it comes out, and it's pretty easy to get it out. So we're going to just pull it out like so. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to lift this part right here out. So to do that, all you're going to do is put a little bit of pressure on the trigger and it pops up like that. So all I did was push behind the trigger and it lifts up, and then I'm going to pull forward and lift up. Pretty easy, right? Then we're going to set this to the side. We're not going to touch it again. It should be empty now. Okay, I'm back. So I forgot to mention a few things that you're going to need. One of them is something like a small pick. This is a dental pick. These aren't completely necessary. You can use what you got, but they help. Also, you're going to want something with a punch. I've got this little multi-tool that has a punch on it. It's called a Range Max. I think I got it from like Sportsman's Warehouse or something like that. So these help. So this pin right here, and we're recording. All right. So we're not going to take this pin out first. I forgot we had to start with this trigger bar here on this side right here, so you guys be patient with me here. I've only done this once, but I'm just trying to make a better video than the other guy did. All right, so with this trigger bar, the first thing that we're going to want to do is take this little spring and stuff right here out. So to do that, we're going to need to move it back. You're going to push this back. It goes with the trigger backwards here. You're going to push it back and like so. Now the trigger will only come out if it's all the way forward. Let's see if we can get this here. All right, so you're going to push it. I'm trying to get this on camera good here. You're going to push it up with your thumb and pull back, and it should pop out of that little housing, and then we'll come backwards. Once it does, you see how the trigger has gone forward? Now the trigger will come out. So in order to do that, I lifted, let me fix this camera so you see what I see here. So in order to do that, I pressed up, pulled back, and pulled towards me, and that caused the whole thing to come out from this little housing right here. So I'm trying to be as specific as I can and get you some close-up. So it came out of this housing here. So I pulled it back in this way. So then the trigger's all the way forward, and now the trigger should come out just by pressing it, by hammering it out here. If we can push it here. This little part right here, we should be able to press that. There it goes. Just by barely pushing on it, it came out. So then we're going to take the trigger out. This is going to be replaced, so we don't need this one anymore. I'm going to set it off to the side. Okay, so the next thing, this little, well, let's go ahead and finish taking the trigger bar off here. So it was held under that spring tension there, so we can go ahead and pull it out. Trying not to lose any springs here. And you can see that that spring is kind of got a little curved shape to it. I'll show it to you in a second, better close up. See how this spring has that little curve to it there? They've got a replacement in the bag, so you don't need that spring there. You're going to replace it with a little bit of a lighter gauge. So we're going to set it to the side. The trigger bar you will still need. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to punch out this large pin down here, and that'll allow us to get this black piece on the side here off. So we're going to press on it. Doesn't take much pressure at all to get it out. Okay, so that's what that looks like. It doesn't take much pressure at all to get it out. Then we're going to take the mag catch off. Now notice there's a spring with grease. Well, I just dropped the spring with grease in my hand, but you say that spring's going to be replaced there, but that's where that's at. Okay, so the spring, see how the grease is on that? So we're going to replace the little bottom piece that was connected to that. Oh. We're going to set those down. Okay. The kit's going to come with a new spring there, so we're going to set that one to the side. All right. Next thing we're going to do is this little pin right here. See if I can get something better to point with so you can see more what I'm trying to show. This little pin right here is going to come out. So you're just going to press on this back side here. It's going to take a smaller punch, and this one's kind of difficult to get out. It takes a little tension. I had to hammer it out earlier. The guy made it look easy. It wasn't very easy. Okay, once I got it a little bit, it's under tension, so I got it pressed a little bit with my punch there, and then I'm just going to take like a flathead screwdriver that's on my Leatherman here and pull it out. I'm trying to make this video as short as possible, and I may edit some of the more nuanced stuff out. Let me tilt this down a little bit. So I'm just going to get my flathead behind it here. What am I showing? Here we go. And I'm going to try to pry that out. There we go. Okay. And I'm talking about this little piece here. That should pull out once you... That was kind of a pain in the butt earlier. This one was easier. So, all right. Next, this little part right here, this black bar that's going across here, we're going to press down on it and try to get it under this notch that's right here. Up here, see how there's two notches up here? If you look at them, you're going to try to get it down below that. All right, it'll pop down like so, and then you're going to just try to move it over. See how that's moved over now? Now what we're going to do is this piece right here, we're going to try to get it off this little pin right here. So in order to do that, now's where this pick comes in handy. Now we're going to take your pick, and right here behind this, See how there's these springs down inside here? You're gonna press those backwards and relieve some of the tension off of them, and then try to pop that off. It's easier said than done. There we go. All right. So then that piece there comes off like that. Okay, once that piece is off, now you can see the whole assembly back here. So the next thing we're gonna do, now you wanna be extremely careful now, because there's some springs back here that you don't want to go flying and things like that. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna pop the larger pin out. So this big one right here, we're gonna pop that one out. So we're gonna take our little punch here and we're just gonna press that one out. It fell straight out. That one gets replaced. Okay, so it's a little bit of a better one. So we're gonna set this one to the side. Next, we're gonna pop the smaller one out. And the smaller one's the one right here. You can tell my fingers are dirty. I went shooting earlier. I went to test this trigger out, which is amazing, by the way. The trigger's way better. It's not hard at all. Now, once you pop this one out, the stuff can fall freely. So turn it over this way and pull it out. And when you do, I don't know if you guys saw that, but this sear, the sear right here kind of freed itself up. It can fall out now. So I don't know if y'all saw that fall out in my hand, but a piece fell out in my hand. I'll show it to you. It'll probably happen to you too. It happened to me earlier. So smaller pins now taken out. This piece right here is what fell into my hand. Okay, next we're gonna take the sear out here, and all it should be is a little bit of wiggling and let it turn over in your hand. Now notice that it has those kind of heavier springs from the factory on there. So that's going to be replaced. So we're going to set it down right here. All right, that's all there is to it up to this point. Okay, so now we're going to start replacing this stuff. So let's see what we got in the bag here. All right, so you see what I paid for this, $149. If you got it cheaper than that, you got a better deal than me. Comes with a nice patch here. Comes with a cool sticker you can stick on your car. Comes with some gun oil, extreme duty. Comes with something that says if you want to know how to do this, you can download the DVD, but I'm showing you how to do it. So why are you laughing? Because I said duty? Huh? Is that why you're laughing?
Yeah, I found a grub.
Found a grub. You gonna eat it?
Yeah.
All right, so what comes in your package, you got your new trigger, sear, springs. You got 2 extra springs in here, so that if you lose 2 of them, you have 2 more here. All right, and you have an over travel stop. That's what this small piece is. I'll show you all this when I get it open. And then of course you got the new flat competition trigger. Great trigger. It's a lot lighter than the factory one. So, all right, let's go ahead and open this stuff up. All our new stuff in here. Go ahead and pull out our new trigger. Here comes the fun part. All right, getting this thing back together. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna take this piece that initially fell out, and we're gonna put it pointing down. That little horn piece right there is gonna go pointing down. and it's going to go on the left side. And then you're going to take your new larger pin. This is going to go in the large pin hole here. And you're going to put it in here. Now this isn't going to stay in here, it's just to hold this piece. If you're having trouble with this, one thing that can help is if you take your punch and you press your punch through to kind of guide it, put some pressure on it, pops back through. So that's one way to, that's a little bit of a piece of advice here. You want that piece that you just put in on the left side. So make sure it's on the left side, not on the right there. So make sure it's all the way to the left like it is here. Okay. I'm sorry, all the way on the left side on this side. If you turn it upside down, it's on the left side. Like so. Okay, I'm going to give you a close-up here. That's what it should look like. Alright, next thing you're going to do is drop in your sear. So let me get the sear. Okay, so you've got your new sear. And right here, these two little dimples on the side of the sear. And you should be able to see this from the other sear that you took out. You're going to place your two new springs on those. This part's kind of a pain in the tail, and I almost lost the spring several times earlier trying to get this part to drop in. Okay, so you're going to put them on there, and if you want, you can put some grease on there, but you don't really need that. All right, on the back of this, in the very back right here, there's a small cutout, and you should see where each spring is going to go to each side of this. Okay, you're going to turn this spring upside down, and it should just drop in. I'm going to do this part very carefully. Make sure that they don't fall. And they fell. Hang on. Let's try that again. If you put some grease on it, it'll probably help it stay, but I don't have any grease right now. I'll have to put grease on them later. But you want those to go to the very back like that. And now I can press on it with my thumb here, and it's kind of springy. Okay, now I'm going to put that small pin in that came out, and that should hold it in place for a moment. Again, from the same side. So now we're looking at it this way. We're going to put it in on the same side and try to get it to go in. Again, you can use the same trick that I used earlier with the punch to get it to guide through. So I'm going to do that. So from this side, I'll place my little punch in and try to get it to go in. It helps if you push backwards on the sear to get it to line those holes up. And you just kind of got to wiggle it around, and I'm trying to do as good of a job as I can at showing this to you guys while doing it at the same time here. My punch is too large for this. There we go. All right. So again, you saw it was kind of a pain in the tail, but now you've got this punch in. So now your sear should be in, and you should be able to press on it. See how it's kind of springy? So, and it should be held in. Everything's held in right now. Okay, now let's see what's next here. Now we're going to put in the no, not the trigger bar. Now we're going to put in the this piece. Forget what it's called. So we're going to lay this across the back here, and you got to be able to put this piece, this end, under this knot. So it's going to be pressed down under one of those notches back at the same angle that you put it on to begin with. And it's gonna, this little bar right, try to get a good close up. This little bar, see how it's angled like that? What you're gonna do is you're gonna take this dental pick piece, you're gonna grab those springs that's in there, and you're gonna pull them backwards so that this can fall in front of that. I don't know if you guys saw that fall down in there, but now that it's in front of the spring, it should just pop over that pin. And now that piece is on. Okay, so what I did was I took my pick and I pulled the spring toward the back, toward the sear. Okay, and that made that piece fall down in there and over your large pin. So now you have this black bar reinstalled here. Okay. Next, we're going to place our over travel stop here on. Now this small pin at first that you pulled out that I said was going to be kind of a pain in the butt, that's what that slides over. So you're going to just set it in there and try to press that piece back up. And it looks like it may be easier than I thought it was going to be earlier. Well, I may have spoke too soon here. It looks lined up, so I may just need to hit it. Yeah, that's what it was. I just needed to hit it. So now that piece right there is what we just put in. So we had to hit this pin in and get it to go in. Now it's, I don't know if you can see that, but it's in. So now we have the over travel stop placed in there. Okay, so the next thing you're going to want to do is to attach the trigger bar and trigger spring. So the spring, the one like this, you're going to want the hook facing towards you so that the pointy end faces backwards. You're going to hook it right here. Okay, just like that. Okay, then your trigger bar facing this way. Okay, you're going to put this pointy end through that little curve that it has there, and it'll face like so. So the spring is actually over the top on the outside of it there. And then you're going to press it back into this housing here that it was in. Well, wait, you don't do that yet, you just got it in there. Then the trigger goes in, like so. Okay, so what you're going to do is, the trigger only goes in the forwardmost position, like so, like all the way forward. And then you're going to put this bar behind it and try to get them to mate up. You'll feel it click, it just clicked like that. Once it clicks, the trigger should be able to move. Then you're going to come back here and very carefully press this one back into place, and the trigger should be moving backwards as you do this. Once that's in its housing there, like that, you're good. Okay. So now it's back there, so you should be able to pull the trigger, and that spring will want to slide it backwards, like that. Okay. And the spring should be pointing up like that. Okay. Now you're done with that part, you're going to replace the pin that goes up here. We're gonna go ahead and place that pin in this way. Just slides in and clicks. And then the mag catch and new mag spring. Tell me I didn't lose that mag spring. Okay, then you're gonna take your mag catch. You're gonna put the little plastic piece back up there so it catches it. Like so. Well, if I can get it to stay in there. It should look like that. Then you're gonna put your new spring on. And then lay it back up and under the this housing here. Upside down here. Like so. So then to get that in there, we're gonna press this pin right here back out and push it in. Took that pin back out. You don't want to do what I just did and sling springs. So let's be careful with that one this time. Okay, like so. I know I'm losing light here, so I'm trying to hurry. We're almost done. We're on the home stretch here. I'm gonna lay this one back in there and put the pin back. I got it upside down. Okay, like that. That part's easy. I'm sure you didn't need my help with that, but now it should be springy, like so. Now we're done. Now we just put it back together. To do that, you're gonna drop your trigger back in, trigger assembly back in here. Press it down real good. Get your holes and everything to line up. Once you do that, you're gonna put your takedown lever back in. I know I'm running out of light. I'm trying to hurry. Just rotate it around till it goes back through. Once it's back in, rotate it all the way to the bottom. Put your slide back on. Pull it all the way to the back and press your catch up. Press your takedown pin back in. It's all the way back in. Drop the slide. Pull the trigger. All right, rack it. You guys should feel that. Do a function check. Pull the trigger, hold the trigger, rack it back, let off the trigger. You should hear that click. Fire the trigger. You should hear that. You're good to go. Load your magazine back up. Put one in the chamber. Take it to the range. All right. Sorry if I didn't get everything on video, but between mine and the other guy's video, maybe you'll be able to get this. All right, guys. Survival Mouse. Thanks for watching.